Hi guys, welcome back to Gardening with Creations by DX & Co. So today, a lot of people have been asking me for update videos on some projects and things like that that I've done in the past. So I wanted to do kind of an update on the concrete raised, or the concrete block, if you will, raised bed, cement block, whatever you want to call it. So I want to go ahead and show you some pros and some cons that I've noticed so far with these beds being just over a year old. So let me take you through some of that today. Let's get started. Okay, so for starters, this video isn't supposed to be intended to be saying whether one style bed is better than the other, but more about just the concrete block style and if it's worth it in the long run. And so I am going to kind of reference some of that, but I wanted to be sure to just kind of preface that I'm not really trying to say one's better than the other here, even though it might seem like that with some pros and cons here. So I will say 100% though, just looking at this, you can see right away that I built this bed perfectly level, right? I did build this bed so that way it was completely square. You guys saw it in the original video. If you haven't watched that, I'll make sure to link it down below for you. However, you can see this left-hand side corner over here is just sagging extremely bad. And the reason for that is because I have moles, I have soil settling over here, so on and so forth. So you can see that the whole side just kind of started collapsing down, and even the back wall there kind of looks like it's starting to fall apart. Now, I didn't cement these or glue these together in any way, shape, or form. I never intended necessarily for this to be a permanent fixture in my garden. So you can tell this side over here, the right hand side that we're looking at, perfectly solid, looks great. The left hand side as well as the two side walls there are just falling over from the unevenness of the ground. So is there a way to fix that? No, not really. And if I take this bed apart, then I've got to contend with all the soil. I can't just easily put this one back together. I'd actually have to move and reposition this whole bed. Now granted, it was very easy to build and just stack these blocks, but the point is now I've got a raised bed here that is still functioning. I can still put more soil in it, raise the soil level up, deal with the edge problem, which is ultimately what I'm going to do, believe it or not. But the point that I'm trying to make is that it's something to keep in mind. It doesn't look pretty, it's still functional, it's still holding in the soil, it's not pushing out, but it is something to keep in mind that it is not level as intended and beautiful and so on and so forth. So it's only half functional when it comes to the nice edge drop and sitting on it and so on and so forth. The other thing that I noticed, and it may have nothing to do with the actual concrete block, but I'm just pointing out some things that I noticed. The soil level sinking a lot faster. And again, that may have to do with some of the pushing out versus not and kind of expanding in that area. It definitely has a smaller footprint on the inside. You know, a lot of people have asked me, how many blocks did I build this with on the outside and the sides? And the total blocks that I actually built this was 32 blocks. All right, I'll put that on the screen. 32 blocks is what I used to build this. And you can see there 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 cap pieces is what was used in this build. So I get that question a lot in the comments on the other ones, so I just wanted to point it out here. 32 blocks, 16, that's 4 by 8 on the outside. So that inside dimension's a lot smaller because you're talking about these 1 foot wide bricks. So subtract the math on that, and now we've got a roughly 3 foot on the inside by 7 foot-ish, right? I mean, that's rough. I'd have to actually do the math, but measure it, I mean, and I can try to do that for you guys and throw it on the screen here. But So those are just a few of the pros, cons that I've seen to us. More cons on this one than pros, if you will. But let me show you the other bed that's more level, that's doing pretty well here. So if we snake over to here, sorry, I got a little bit of a mess on top of this one. I've just got a board sitting there. There's for no reason. It's taking up space. So keep in mind that has nothing to do with the structure of this, but you can see this one in particular, perfectly level, perfectly flat. I've even got our nice trellis system in there. One thing I will say is that the trellis system doesn't work as well in there because I can't put a screw in there to support that, but it does do well. If I had more soil in there, I think it would do a lot better. The point being that that soil level again dropped faster. It's taller than my other raised beds, so that's a huge plus, but it takes a lot more soil to fill. So if you have a lot of deep root vegetables or crops, this style raised bed might be great for you. If you like to sit on the edge of it, this is a really great, inexpensive raised bed that's not gonna break down. It's not going to be something that you have to replace year after year. A typical wood raised bed is about 7-ish years, right, that you get out of it, especially if you buy untreated wood, which you should. Then something like this is not going to break down. The soil seems to be breaking down faster, and I don't know if that's just because it's warmer or if it's just because I used a lot of wood chips maybe as a support base and they're breaking down. So it's just breaking down faster. But I'm going to get both of these filled up a little higher, and we'll still use them this year. But I just wanted to kind of show you those cons that I'm running into. So something to keep in mind if you're thinking about building one yourself versus a wood bed here. You can see is absolutely doesn't matter that the ground's not level. It's not breaking down. It's not falling apart. It's not having the same effect. So because the way that a wooden one's built, the board itself isn't gonna bow and crumple and just kind of fall. It's a solid piece all attached together, so it doesn't have the ability. It might get some warping, you might get a low corner or something like that, but you're not gonna have the same effect where the bed itself starting to fall apart. So there you go, just an update video for you on the concrete or cement raised bed, if you will. I figured you guys would like an update on some of those pros and cons. It is vastly becoming one of my more popular videos, and I mean, I was just doing it for the sake because I had the extra blocks. So very awesome. I appreciate you guys watching these, and I know you guys have been asking for update videos on a lot of things, so I'm going to try to get some update videos for you this season. And this is just one that I was out here dealing with, so I figured I'd go ahead and get it done for you. So as always, guys, appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys are staying safe and enjoying your gardens.